Hey, how you doing, everybody? Hope you're 186 back again with another live stream. This is more of a traditional video that I'm gonna be doing, but since I rather do it in stream form, so I'm gonna do that. Let me just check the sound real quick, and then we'll get started. Obviously, you see the title. We're gonna be talking about Spider-Man. Yes, test the sound. Let me just check the sound real quick. Okay, we're good to go. Anyways, how's everyone doing? Like I said, we're gonna be talking about Spider-Man this evening. Um, Pretty much, let's start from the beginning, man. Let's start from the beginning. The game comes out in a couple weeks. I believe we are probably like 2.5 weeks away from Spider-Man, and I'm excited for it. But I'll talk about that a little bit later. But as of right now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, right? Why is everybody hyped for Spider-Man? If you talk to Xbox people, Xbox fanboys, hey, what's going on, Jake? How you doing, man? When you talk to Xbox fanboys, they'll tell you that they'll give you all sorts of reasons. Oh, it's you guys are only hyped about it because it's exclusive, this and that. Oh, you didn't care about any other Spider-Man game or anything like that. And listen, let's cut through the bullshit right now. Are there people out there that are excited about Spider-Man because it's exclusive? Yes. That's what fanboys do. Fanboys hype up exclusives. I think I said this in my last Hoovy on Deck podcast type thing or whatever. But um yeah, fanboys hype up exclusives. Yeah, I'm hyped, man. I'm hyped for Spider Man. You know what I mean? But people hype up exclusives. You know what I mean? That's what fanboys do. But guess what? You're telling me that there's a lot of people out there who are shitting on this game or trying to discount this game because it's also exclusive to the platform that they don't own? Of course, that's true. That's what fanboys do. You have fanboys out there. They'll like a game on they'll hype up the games on their platform and they'll shit on games that are not on their platform. And that's what they're doing. And that's what Xbox dudes are doing. Some of them are doing with Spider Man. It's obvious. When you hear people say that, oh, there's only people hyping up this game because it's exclusives. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're telling the truth. But if they won't acknowledge that there's a lot of Xbox fanboys out there who are shitting on this game because it's exclusive to Sony. They're lying to themselves. They're lying to you. That's what fanboys do. Fanboys hype up exclusives. That's not it's not rocket science. It's not it's not brain surgery. That's what fanboys do. Now, am I hyped for Spider-Man because it's exclusive? No. I hype up games that look cool to me, and Spider-Man looks cool. Now, let me kind of divert into a somewhat of a subtopic that I want to discuss, and that's the exclusivity, right, of games, right? You obviously you guys know. Let me see. Hold on. Let me read this. It's Taken City. Let's say it's do you mean? Are you talking about Are you talking about the Batman game? Are you talking about Arkham City? Oh, I'm not a comic book reader, so I don't know. I don't know. I'm not really a comic book reader like that, so I don't know. But to me, I'm hyped for it. Now to get into the point of exclusivity, right? We all know what exclusives are. You have Halo, Gears, Forza, Uncharted, God of War, Gears of War, or Arkham. I'll discuss that a little bit later too. Actually, I'm gonna discuss it. Pretty much, Arkham City will be part of this little discussion. Now, obviously, we all know what the exclusives are. Each platform has them, right? And do people have a higher? Do people have more? Obviously, people are hype. Fanboys hype up exclusive. But for someone like me, do I put more emphasis on an exclusive than I do with a third party game? I don't want to say yes, but I'm not gonna lie. For years, ever since I was young, I've always put more value on to a platform based on their exclusives, right? It's the reason why I bought a Super Nintendo over a Sega Genesis back in the day. I went to my dad took it to Toys R Us. After like a year of bugging him about buying a console, he finally took me to Toys R Us. This was years ago, like 20, 25, 26 years ago. You know, and he bought us the console that we wanted, and we wanted a Super Nintendo. And not because the Sega Genesis was bad or anything like that. The Sega Genesis is a great console, but when it came to exclusives, I thought the Super Nintendo was better. You know what I mean? Same thing went with the PS1 and the N64. You know what I mean? And it killed me. Like, and remember, my parents are not, they're not rich, and they didn't like video games, so it killed me to look at, WCW Revenge. Well, first WCW versus the World, uh, WCW NWO Revenge, and then WrestleMania 2000, No Mercy, and seeing that I had to go to my friend's house to play it, and I couldn't play it. I'm stuck with these shitty ass fucking WCW Nitro, Warzone, Raw. I think they had a Raw game that was garbage, and WCW Thunder. I was stuck with playing with these fucking games, with these awful games. But at the end of the day, the exclusives on the PlayStation is what ultimately gravitated me towards that system, towards getting that system. And the same thing goes on from each generation. So I do put a little bit higher stocks on a exclusive than I do with a third party game. Because at the end of the day, like you always, because at the end of the day, even though it may, obviously when you think about exclusives, that means that they're putting all their horsepower behind that machine. Back in the day, third party used to make games that were at least somewhat different on each platform. At least back in the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis days. One version of a game, you could have the same title of a game, but you'll probably have two different versions of it. More often than not. You know what I mean? As time goes on, you know, games are pretty much being ported from system to system. So while the game, and that doesn't mean that the game is bad or anything like that. It's just that obviously they make the game for the top tier system, whatever it's develop it for. They say that their main platform is Xbox, or main platform is PlayStation, or main platform is PC, whatever, and then they take that game and port it over to each other console. You know what I mean? Especially nowadays with exclusive is only for that console. That probably it could run on other consoles, but you're dedicating that all the horsepower to that console. And I think for someone like myself, I put a little bit more emphasis into that. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, I have both, so I'm good either way. But I get what you're saying. I prefer the PS4 over the Xbox One because of exclusives. You know what I mean? The Xbox One arguably has more obviously has more features. It does a lot of other cool stuff. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I put the value on exclusives. And for Nintendo guys, I'm sure you guys put a lot of emphasis on exclusives. That's why you guys buy Nintendo systems. So that's always been my thing. Now, when it comes to like the main comparison that a lot of people are talking is the Spider-Man versus Batman Arkham Knight, Arkham City, whatever, right? Now, me personally, I'm a much bigger fan of Batman than I am Spider-Man. Spider-Man as a character, I don't really care about. You know what I mean? Like I don't really care. I'm a far bigger fan of Batman. But I can't lie and tell you that when I look at the Batman, the Arkham games, even the first one, I just wasn't really that interested. You know what I mean? Even when it was on PS3, Xbox 360, I wasn't interested. And I think I've come to realize that I'm not really into 3D beat 'em ups than I am. Like I love 2D beat 'em ups. Like the Final Fight, Streets of Rage, games like that. Like I love those games. I can play those games today if I wanted to. 3D beat 'em ups, on the other hand, is not really my thing, and that's probably why I don't really like the Arkham Knight games. Now, with that said, when it comes to Spider-Man, what gravitates me to Spider-Man is the traversal, the how the web slinging, the all the cool stuff that he does to travel from place to place. That's the type of gameplay that I really like. And you really and I seen I watched gameplay of the Batman games, and outside of the grappling hook and stuff like that, you don't really have that type of same traversal. It doesn't have the same effect to me that that the Spider-Man game looks like it'll have. You know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of like, and I think that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, if Batman, let's say Batman was exclusive to the Xbox, right? I mean, I'm not gonna say that I would like the game more, but I would actually be more willing to give it a chance than I would if it's a multiplayer. Because multipliers are a dime a dozen. You know what I mean? Exclusives are supposed to be special, right? That's what exclusives are. The exclusives are supposed to be special. Not every game is good, obviously, but when a game like God of War comes out, Uncharted, Horizon, and for everyone else like a Mario or Forza or Gears or Halo or Zelda, that's special. You know what I mean? That's a special release. You know what I mean? Like, and obviously some games like the GTA games, Red Dead Redemption, um what other games like that? Like you have certain third parties that have that same feeling, but not like an exclusive, especially a big one. Yeah, I mean, I can feel you on that. I can feel you on that. You know what I mean? Like, and that's really what exclusives are for. The exclusives are what's supposed to drive people to buy console A, B, or C. That's what it's supposed to do. You know what I mean? So yeah. So back to my original point about Spider-Man. You have a lot of people who are saying this and that about it. Um, and to me, like when people say, "Oh, well, you guys weren't interested in the other Spider-Man games," and my question would be, how many of those games were made by Insomniac? I'll wait. Oh, the answer is zero. Oh, that's interesting. Now, I can't. Now, I don't know the full history of Spider-Man game. Right? There was Spider-Man 2, I believe, that came out on the PS2. That game was great. And then they had a couple other ones that were hit or miss. You know what I mean? Like if those games, like let's be real. Why do everyone always the go-to for Spider-Man game back in the day was Spider-Man 2, right? That's the go-to. Why? Because that was the one that was the most popular one at the time, right? You had some people who like some of the older ones on the Super Nintendo or whatever, and stuff like that. But Spider-Man 2 is kind of like that go-to game, right? Why is that? Because the game was good. And at the time, you really didn't see that was really the first Spider-Man game that looked like that and played like that came at least closest to the Spider-Man experience. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. You have people talking up, oh, Web of Shadows, this and that. Like I'm like, hey man, if you like that game, that's fine. But let's be fucking frank here. How many of those games had the pedigree around it that this game does? None. And people love to like ignore that. They seem to ignore it, and a lot of it is due to their biases. Like you have these Xbox dudes who say this, and these are the same dudes who sit there and 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 talk up Sunset Overdrive, which is a game I love. I love Sunset Overdrive. I would probably say it's my. I'd probably say it's in my top five. Definitely in my top five as far as Xbox One games. But yet, you but even with all that, and a lot of those dudes I see on Twitter who love those games, who love that game, but somehow they say, "Oh well, you guys are interested in the other Spider-Man game." Well, how many of you guys would be interested in the Spider-Man game in that Spider-Man game if that game was coming out for the Xbox? A hell of a lot of you, including all you dudes who sit there and talk of graphics and resolution, all that other bullshit that you guys were shitting on the first couple years of this generation, who talk it up now. You guys would be creaming your pants to play this game. You know what I mean? And some of you guys probably are, but you guys have reputation to uphold as far as being these you know uh these protectors of Xbox or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Like to me, it's all bullshit. Obviously, developers. Look, the whole thing regarding Microsoft buying exclusive, you can't sit there on one hand and cure Microsoft for getting all these developers and talking up these developers, and then say, and then not, and then at the same breath saying that the whoever developing the Spider-Man game doesn't matter because you guys should have been excited for the other one. It don't make any sense. If Rockstar was making a Batman game, would I be excited? Absolutely. It's Rockstar, arguably the greatest dev team in the fucking world right now. Of course, if you know, let's say I guess BioWare is making Anthem, but let's say if BioWare was making a an Avengers game, of course people would be excited. Why wouldn't they be? Why do you think they would be excited? Because of the developer. How is it that a developer like Insomniac, who's made Ratchet and Clank, they made Resistance, they made Sunset Overdrive, they did I mention Ratchet and Clank? I probably did. Who made the Ratchet and Clank remake? You know what I mean? Like you have this company who has a excellent pedigree. If I had to classify Insomniac, they're obviously below um Rockstar and Naughty Dog and Blizzard. They're below them, but they're just a notch below them. And considering their history with those type of games, yeah, I would figure that people would understand why people are hyped for the Spider-Man. Why some people are hyped for the Spider-Man. Like, yeah, the developer does matter when it comes to hyping up. When it comes to people being hyped for games, that's just how it is. I mean, to deny that is just dumb. It's completely dumb. It don't make any sense. Like I look at look at fucking uh I mean look at Anthem. Like people are excited for Anthem. I don't give a shit about Anthem. Well, a lot of people are excited about Anthem. Why? Oh, because BioWare is behind it. I think BioWare is the developer behind it. Or at least the same people behind Mass Effect. It's one of the creators of Mass Effect. Why shouldn't people be excited about that? Mass Effect was arguably one of the biggest games of last generation. Yeah, yeah, okay. It is being developed by BioWare, and obviously EA is publishing it. Yeah, like people like the dev teams behind these games. They absolutely do matter. They absolutely matter. And for someone to say otherwise, they're lying to you. They're lying to you because they're upset that this game is exclusive to their console, to the other person's console. Excuse me. Now, the last question I have for this one. This one is more fun, to talk about. Will this game outsell God of War? Um, I keep going back and forth on this. Um, Now for I did some research on this earlier today, and according to what I saw, God of War for the first month, I'm gonna judge it on a month by month on the month, not necessarily the week, but I'm gonna judge it by the month. God of War in the first month sold 5 million copies, right? I probably just under 5 million, around the ballpark of 5 million copies. Do I think Spider-Man can do that? Excuse me. I believe that Spider-Man can do it. Anything's possible, but will it do it? I know it's tough. It's tough because there's so many different factors that go into this for me, and the most important one is release date. God of War came out April 20th, right? There wasn't really. I don't think there was really much going on around that time as far as game releases go, at least for major game releases. So the game. I think the game would have done very well regardless of when it was released, because there was so much hype around that game. But it's all 5 million, right? Do I think Spider-Man can do that? Now the thing is this, right? Spider-Man is coming out. I believe it's supposed to come out September. Let me look it up real quick. I know it's a couple weeks away. September. Let me look this up real quick. Come on, Spider-Man. There you go. Let's see. The game is supposed to come out. Yeah, release date. Let me look for. Let me give me the release date. Yeah, I'm online right now. I'm looking for it. Let's see. September 7th. Okay, September 7th, right? And when you look at where it comes out, it's coming out around the same time as games like Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Um, I know Red Dead is coming out the month after. Yeah, yeah, the month after, and like I mean, September is around is kind of like the beginning of the holiday season when it comes to video games. So I think that I don't think the release date hurts it at all. Um, but I mean, I think when you look when you if you had to pick between April and September, I would probably pick April for a release date. So you had that, but you had that. Then you have to look at the overall popularity of both franchises. Now, I think as far as mass appeal, I think Spider-Man is a bigger deal. Because you have and some people. I saw a Kid Smooth video on this. With him damage controlling Spider-Man, and he didn't really bring up, and I know Heart 8 did, that how popular the Spider-Man movies were, especially the first three, right? And this was at a time when superhero movies were few and far between and completely utter trash. And then Spider-Man comes out and knocks it out of the park with the movie, and it really became. And the Spider-Man movies spawned is really what spawned the superhero movie craze that we see today with the Marvel movies, the shitty DC ones. Well, not all of them are shitty, but Justice League was not very good. Um, and obviously the Dark Knight series. Those movies are what Spider-Man. That movie is what spawned it, and Spider-Man is a big deal. Oh yeah, no, that's true, that's true. But you can't really compare the past Spider-Man game to this one. This one's on a whole nother level, and all you have to do is look at the gameplay to see that. You know what I mean? With the traversal, the combat, like this game is going to be. I think this game is going to be big. I truly do believe that. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I mean, I'm not really into Splatoon like that, but the fact that Nintendo made Splatoon, it gave you a reason to be excited for it because it's Nintendo. The same company that made Mario, Zelda, Kirby, Smash, Mario Kart. Like, come on, like you get it, Jake, you get it. You know what I mean? But okay, back to my main point. Right, Spider-Man is a um far bigger character as far as commercially, like as far as worldwide. Yeah, commercially, he's a you know more established character than Kratos. Right, even though I would argue that Kratos is a far bigger name as far as the gaming community is, obviously, but as far as like mass appeal, Spider-Man's a bigger deal, right? Plus, you have the Spider-Man console coming out, and the way it looks is it's eye popping. I don't think the design of the console looked great, but it's eye popping, it's eye catching. I mean, you notice it. So but will the appeal of Spider-Man of the what was it? I would call it the not worldwide. The commercial appeal of Spider-Man turn into will that gravitate Spider-Man to be something bigger than to sell more than God of War. And to me that's the biggest question out there. And to me, I think it'll get close. I don't. If I had the gun to my head, will it outsell God of War? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no because the only reason why is because I think that there are too much bigger games on the horizon for people to just grab this one game. You know what I'm saying? I do think that and not to say that, and then like I said earlier, the release date to me is not the big issue. Not the biggest issue, but all I'm saying is that releasing in April is far better than releasing in September, especially when you have all the games I mentioned. Plus, I just popped in my head. You have you know Battlefield, Battlefield 5, and you have Call of Duty. You know what I mean? And those and people gravitate to those games big time. You know what I mean? But I think that if I had to predict how much it'll sell, I think it'll sell 3 million this first month. I think 3 million is where I think it'll go. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much it for the video. I don't really have much else to talk about. There is a Hoovy on deck that I think I'm gonna do tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure. Um, like for me, I don't know. Like these topics are about a week old, so I don't wanna make a video and about stuff that happened a week ago. So if I don't make it, follow me on Twitter. I'll probably yeah, just follow me on Twitter anyway. Like I just I'm on Twitter most of the time anyway. So yeah, so I mean, just to recap before I go, let me just recap this, right? Obviously, there is a lot of hype surrounding Spider-Man. There's so many reasons why people are hyped about it. Because one, obviously, when you could talk to PlayStation fanboys, it's an exclusive. It's something to brag about when it comes to Xbox. Yada 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 yada. Right? There are a lot of people who are shitting on this game because it's exclusive. Let's be real, right? There are a lot of people hyping the game up because Insomniac is making it, and to me, that's not something that can't be unnoticed. And also, do I think it'll sell? I'll sell God of War. My answer is no. But like I said, regardless, I think the game's gonna be great. If I had to make a Metacritic prediction, I'm gonna go 88. That's my prediction. I'm gonna go 88. I think it'll go as low as an 83, and I think it'll go as high as a 90. But my main prediction is 88. So that's pretty much it, man. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Help me out. Anyway, this is Hoopy 186. I'm out. Peace.